It is 11:27 now. I'm WCIA 3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey here. We had a little internet outage for a little bit there. I don't know, maybe lightning struck something or did something, but that's why we were offline for a little bit. And we apologize for that. Sometimes technology does technology things, especially on a Sunday night when no one's watching. So we're still watching a couple of severe storms roll through parts of the WCIA 3 viewing area. We got things back online here. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings for the next few minutes for parts of Montgomery, Fayette, Shelby, and Effingham counties. Christian County is all clear. Areas near Nokomis are all clear. The Fayette County storm, pretty much essentially now we think Montgomery County also in the clear. So again, apologies. Sometimes things happen. I don't know what the internet was doing. I had to just switch some stuff on and make things going. So we've got a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings continuing here across the region. Let me flip on the warning products for us here as we continue to watch these. We were on probably about 10 or 15 minutes ago before I was able to get this internet back up here. This one severe thunderstorm warning includes Shelby County, northwestern Effingham County. This one goes until 11:30, so after this, we may be done here. That line of gusty storms is from Shelbyville down towards Cowden, moving off to the east at 30 miles an hour. There's no warning for Stewartson, Strasburg, or Windsor. The warning is canceled for Pana, Assumption, those areas not in effect either. Tower Hill downstream, we'll watch. It looks like it's coming through there now, and we'll keep an eye on it. I think even in Effingham County, this storm may stay to the north, but there is another one that we're watching just behind its doorstep here. And that one is now primarily a Fayette County issue approaching Highway 51 from Ramsey to Sharon to Vandalia. Some gusty winds along there. The main threats with this warning is for 60-mile-an-hour winds. This warning goes until 11:45 p.m. So, again, there's some heavy rain, there's some thunder and lightning. We've got two severe thunderstorm warnings in effect with these storms here, and I'll bring it full. Ooh, that was loud. Now that we're back, and that way you can see those warning polygons there. If you're watching us on the Interstate 72 or 74 corridors, doesn't affect us. We're not under this warning. These storms are primarily down closer to Interstate 70 here, but again, we like to bring you coverage no matter the type of storms as some of these gustier showers and storms are rolling on through. So I'm going to slow down the loop speed a little bit, and we can see what they've been doing over the last 45 minutes. But what it appears to me is that there's a little bit of a slight swirl in here. If you kind of look, it's a remnant MCV, and sometimes these can give us those gusty showers and storms here. The storm segments themselves look more linear, which to me makes me think much less of a tornado threat with this. This primarily for a few straight line gusts of wind. So now 11:30. We just got the updated text for the warning for Shelby County. Shelby County, Effingham County, the severe thunderstorm warning has been dropped. Not a concern there anymore. There still are showers and storms in the region. We now primarily watching for Vandalia, Fayette County, a little sliver there. We're going to find out pretty quickly whether or not they extend the warning, and if they do, that may very well include parts of Effingham County. So until I get an alert or a notification or an update on their thoughts for that southern storm, we're going to stay with it here. It's digital platforms. What are we doing? We're just spending a little time online on this Sunday night late here, keeping you updated with things. So I've got a few things reset behind the scenes. I had to reset a couple of systems and get things going for us just to make sure we could get back online. Sometimes the internet can be a little silly. We'll say that. I'm sure you at home have that issue. I tell you what, my home internet sometimes gives me a little bit of a problem. That's why we like to stream here, because your home internet might. So we're hitting all of those digital platforms. Of course, we're live on our app. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitter. And we're live on YouTube even. Some of you YouTube users out there may know how to get to there. But primarily, it's a Facebook way for us to stay in touch and keep up to date. So again, apologies for the little delay there. We got on and then kicked off, and now we're back and keeping an eye on things here for our low, non-zero severe weather threat. So getting a few others here and some of the chat back up. The latest thoughts from National Weather Service. There's a report. Springfield's up to an inch of rain in 4 hours. The ASOS station in town at the Capitol Airport has gotten an inch of rain. The last count from Jacksonville at 9 o'clock was they got over an inch of rain there too. So we're definitely getting some heavier rain with this batch of storms as it rolls on through here. We'll continue to watch it and keep our eyes on it here. But right now, just one warning. That is for Fayette, southeastern Montgomery. Although I'd say Montgomery County, you're all clear as the rain exits the area. This Fayette County warning, we'll keep an eye on it. It's going to continue off to the east, Fayette County, downstream maybe Effingham County. Still, though, Shelby County, there's no warning. But what I'm going to do is take a peek here and take a look at a different product. We look now at Storm Tracker Doppler. We're looking at the base reflectivity. And what this does is it allows us to get a more in-depth view of what we're seeing and keep our eyes on things. And we can pick out a few features on there. How heavy is the rain and where is it located? But there's some other things we can look at which can give us a better vantage point with the base velocity here. So what I'm doing real quick is I need to change some other settings and get set. And looks like I pressed the wrong button here, so bear with me here. I gotta change the source over in my monitor, and I want to change the settings here. Hey, you know, if you're watching and you think this is some terrible coverage, you know what, we're just hanging out late and keeping our eyes on things. You know, we're going to do that here in, you know, one-man band as far as it goes tonight, but we're going to be here as long as we've got these severe storms that are rolling through the region. So let me take a look at this product here. Base velocity. Reflectivity looks at the strength, the size, and the amount. Think of it that way. Velocity, what it does is it tells us how things are moving. And, you know, we're looking at green values going towards, red values going away. Well, what's it going towards and away from? It's the Doppler radar site. You'll see that little circle that's up there north of Springfield. That's the NWS radar site in Lincoln. So we're able to see the green values going towards the radar, the red values going away. We're sampling how is that movement occurring here. And we're able to see different features, rotation, straight line winds, storm movement, things like that on velocity. Very much here, one of the signatures that kind of sticks out is a little bit of a backwards C shape there. You see that passed through Cowden. Eventually, you know, that's going to be towards Clarksburg. It's approaching Strasburg and Stewardson. That little backwards C is an indication of more of a straight line wind threat here, especially with some of those red values moving off to the east. Doesn't look all that strong, but there's still probably some gusts of 40 to 50 miles an hour in there. We'll watch it for a little while longer here. We're really thinking, you know, what's the National Weather Service going to do further downstream here? What are they going to do with this Vandalia storm? And again, it doesn't look as good, but I will switch to the St. Louis radar. Now we're looking at the red going away from the St. Louis radar. Well, that one's out there on the west side of town. And that radar is a bit far away, but we still sometimes can get a look at things and how it's going. We're looking kind of high up in the atmosphere, but it still gives us a nice view of what's going on as I switch back and forth. I think the Lincoln radar telling more of the story for us here, kind of that line that's in there. If you draw your eye on the I-51 quarter, I'll switch it back to base reflectivity, and lo and behold, there's that leading edge of that storm there showing some of those straight line winds trying to come on out into the region. Let's reset, take a regional view here, and take a peek at everything. We want to make sure no one's left out, and we're covering everything here. You know, we're not talking a lot about folks that are up in Champaign or Danville or Decatur even, Springfield, Jacksonville. There's some light to moderate rain up in those regions. And let me reset my lightning counter here. We got to fix that. Some couple rumbles of thunder in the area, but no severe weather expected up there. The stronger storms are primarily Mattoon, Charleston, Shelbyville, down towards Vandalia, Effingham areas. Quite a bit of lightning and thunder in those regions here, so some definite rumbles coming on through as far as it goes. So that's what we're expecting here. Checking a few of these reports, seeing what's going on. We got heavy rain and lightning and thunder in Ashmore. Lena letting us know about that. Seth says pouring and some wind in Stewardson, but probably not too much wind, Seth. You know, you still got lights on and things of that. Ooh, I like this thinking. If anything happens, blame Kevin. Yeah, that's right, Christy. We'll blame Kevin again as far as it goes. So we'll still have a few rumbles of thunder in the neighborhood, and I still think Champaign-Urbana will have the chance for some rumbles of thunder. We've had some folks report it, but the stronger storms are staying out of our neck of the woods up here in Champaign County. You know, it seems like we're drawing that line of US 36. That runs from Springfield through Decatur, off to the east towards Atwood, Tuscola. You get to the east there towards Christmas. South of there, primarily, towards the Interstate 70 corridor. Just a little extra instability, allowing a few of these storms to appear a little more strong in nature. So we'll kind of turn off some of these values and check things out here. You know, that's a pretty healthy looking storm here, south and east of Effingham. That storm will be lifting actually in a more northward direction. You know, it's out there by itself, so we'll watch. There's probably some wind, maybe maybe a little hail with that. We'll see here. We're going to loop that and kind of see what it's been doing. And, of course, my computer's acting up just a little bit. Looks like I don't have that product. Okay, that's good to know here. Okay, so we'll bring that base reflectivity up. So, there's going to be some maybe small hail, but this seems like any of these storms would have some stronger gusts of wind as far as it goes. Let's say some deep, loud rumbles occasionally in Champaign. I'll tell you what. If I wasn't a meteorologist, I'd be at home tonight in Champaign-Urbana, and I would have the windows open slightly. You hear the rain falling, get those deep, low rumbles. Some good sleeping weather as far as it goes here of whatnot. And so for many of us here, but we're just kind of keeping an extra eye out for Shelby County, Cumberland County, Coles County, Fayette County, eventually Effingham County, Clark and Jasper County, and those folks down to the east here. Okay, I saw a question, how can we tell hail? First off, what we do with hail is we look in the atmosphere ahead of time and what's going on here. There's some different factors in place here. This isn't a hail event, but there may be some pea-size or maybe some dime-size hail mixing in here. We'll see if the radar agrees. I just can't rule it out. It's not supportive of any big hail. Radar says, hey, no, there's no hail sizes. I did see some hail reported in the St. Louis area earlier. In fact, I'll bring this back the last 12 hours. We'll see if we can see a few of these little blips of color here. So if you look real close, this was earlier, what time? About 10:30. There's a little blip of gray that showed up. That's just an indication maybe there's a little bit of small hail that's trying to mix on it. Even here right now, looking live, Vandalia. Let's just query that. The computer can tell us some good things here. This is more of a straight line wind event. The atmosphere not supported for big hail. When you want big hail, oh, look at that, 0.3 of an inch of hail. That is, some pea-sized hail at best as far as it goes. And how isolated that is, it may not even be making it down to the ground. When we look at hail, we really need the atmosphere to have some drier air aloft, especially to get bigger hail. And that's just not the case for us today. Today, mainly going to be for some of those straight line winds that we've got here of 50, maybe a gust or two up to 60 miles an hour as far as it goes. So, I'm going to bring back our warning product and just make sure. So you'll notice here, this severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect, the storm has moved off to the east. It's 11:39 now. The warning expires at 11:45. In my mind, based on what I'm seeing on radar, and I'll double check our chat room with the NWS office, they're probably going to just let the warning expire. They haven't given us an update in about 20 minutes on what their thoughts are. So my guess is that this warning is going to expire. Still, though, it's going to have some rumbles of thunder as it moves down Interstate 70, US 40 corridor towards Effingham. We'll watch it and keep an eye on it. But if that happens, we'll probably wrap things up here. This storm here, though, does have my interest. That's splitting there to the, let's see, maybe kind of east of Teutopolis, heading towards Dietrich. Past there. There's Wheeler. You can see some of these towns. It's kind of out there by itself, and you see some of those pink colors. It just makes me look at it and think, okay, maybe more of an individual cell can give us just a little bit of hail, and that's what radar is trying to show here near Wheeler. So maybe some of that small hail coming up towards Grove, Woodbury, maybe into southern Cumberland County. The storm itself moving a little bit different of a direction. Most of our storms are moving to the east. Something else that you can look for. Whoops, let me bring that back here and hit the reset button. I sometimes do that. Sometimes what we look for is storms that have different motion. What I mean by that, most of our storms here are moving to the east. This one I've noticed has had a little more of a north and eastward direction. We'll loop it, and I'm missing some of my product over the last little bit, so we may not get the best view of this. I don't know if that's the Effingham radar. Let me try the Lincoln radar here and see if that gives us a better vantage of what's going on. So last hour, loop it continuously. There you go. You see that one storm that's really kind of blowing up east of Effingham. It's got more of a northward component. And so that's, sometimes those deviant motions can bring some limited hail threat with them. That's just one thing I look for. It's sticking out to myself. I'm not going to say there's going to be, by no means am I saying there's going to be like golf balls. No, goodness. But, you may get a little hail mixed on in there. The atmosphere is not really supportive of that. But that's something that sticks out to me as a meteorologist. My trained eye kind of peeks at that and thinks, oh, maybe we get a little bit of hail into southern Cumberland counties near Toledo, Greenup especially downstream. So we'll watch it. No warning right now, but that's probably the storm I'm most interested in as far as it goes. So we're going to bring this back and hit the reset button. We got folks all over, I'm sure, checking in the chat. What about Mattoon, Charleston? We got some rumbles of thunder in Mattoon, Charleston. We've been seeing the lightning, of course. No severe thunderstorm warning. There may be a few gusts of wind, 30 to 40 miles an hour, but I'm not really concerned at this point for Coles County. Even that Shelby County storm, as I go back to my high-resolution storm tracker Doppler here, look at that. Look how puny it has looked here. And I'll go back in the last hour. The storm itself was much more presentable when it was west of 51. But that trend has been, there it is. It's kind of organizing and trying to do something. It started to bow out a little bit. They issued the warning. Well, look what it's in. It's kind of doesn't have nearly the look it did before with it in the area. So, and even that storm to the south there in Fayette County, not overly impressed with this point. We're still here because we got the Fayette County warning, and I want to ride that warning out to make sure we don't get an extension. And I also want to watch that little cell to the east of Effingham, see if we don't get a warning out. That would be a Cumberland County warning. If there's a warning, you'll get it on your WCIA 3 weather app. It'll pop up on there, and we'll be here streaming too if need be. I'll probably stick around and do a little work behind the scenes if we log off, just to make sure we can ride these storms into Indiana and have no more problems. But that's the nature of the game with these particular storms here over the next couple of days. We just have to watch them, take them for what they are, and evaluate them over the coming hours and whatnot. So it's going to be one of those day-by-day things. There's nothing in my mind looking at these where, I look at the event and I go, oh, that's a severe weather day. That's not the case here. But, we get a storm here or there that maybe can do something with that. And that's why we're going to continue to watch. So I'm going to show you future track real quick here while we're waiting for that update. It's doing a pretty good placement overall with where the rain is. The timing a little off. This is by 2 a.m. Look where the rain's supposed to be. I would suggest that's closer to now and maybe a little further to the south. But the general trend is there that we've got some moderate rain along Interstate 72, a couple of these storms to the south here. And so by 2, 3 o'clock, more than likely, we'll be able to push that off. Future track says 5. I'd suggest 3 or 4, But then we see some of these isolated storms trying to get going out there west of Lincoln. I don't look at them and think, oh, those are going to be severe. I look at them and think, all right, we'll just watch it, make sure, keep an eye on it. But you notice here by 8, 9 o'clock, there's not a lot of instability at that point. And those areas in particular up here have been worked over by the rain. So more than likely tomorrow morning, I don't think Amelia's going to have to worry about anything. And we go through the day then. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, when Kevin and Jack are in here, we may have some of these individual pop-ups in spots. Those we'll have to watch individually. I don't look at it again and say, tomorrow is a severe weather day. I look at tomorrow and say, we just got to watch it. We'll keep an eye on it. You can still, you got plans, but you got the weather app, the WCIA 3 weather app. You got a way to stay connected with the forecast. And this time of year, the month of May, that's important for us here across the region. And keeping an eye on it here, you just can't rule it out, I would suggest and say. Notice that into Tuesday, still with some rain in the area here, and that's what we expect. So, rightfully so, we've put the severe weather impacts out here. We put this out earlier tonight because we thought maybe something can happen. And lo and behold, here we are. I'm a good hour and a half from going home, late, that is. But that's our job. We're here for you watching storms, and that's what we're going to do for much of tonight here. The threat, low, even very low. In fact, at this point, if we were to get a tornado out of something, that's a 1 in 100 chance at this point. That's lower than low. As far as it goes here. More than likely, any storm may have some gusts of wind, maybe some hail, but those threats still low as well. We get a little of these rain showers and storms to form and train over the same areas, though. That becomes a flooding issue for us, and that may be what we have to watch as far as it goes here all the way through Tuesday. The boundary is going to be important. We talked about that on my Sunday Night Live show. We talked about that in the news. If the boundary stalls and stays right there, it locks itself like a wall, and the rain storms just fall on that, you get 2 to 4 inches in that area. Maybe the boundary wiggles back and forth and can disperse some of that rain a little more evenly. And if that happens, you're in a bit of a better scenario where not nearly as high rain totals in such a small area as far as it goes. So And I showed you this earlier. You look at the SPC outlook, if you're a severe weather junkie, and you look at the outlooks they put out, they didn't have us at any risk today. But tonight it was like, okay, I need to mention at least a very low-end threat. And that's what we did here, and that's why we have gone ahead and taken care of it. We can do a little housekeeping here. We're going to jump back to radar and see. I don't think that warning's been carried forward, but just note some ways to get reliable severe weather alerts. On TV, we've had that crawl going. It looks like it's off, so they must have dropped the warning. The app, if you're in a county or in a location that's under a warning, you get a push notification there. You're listening to the radio in your car, you can hear the EMS chirps come across your NOAA weather radio, unless you live in Champaign County, and now unless you live in Ford, DeWitt, McLean, Piatt counties, and parts of Vermilion County, because the radios now, 2 of them are out. The one in Champaign is supposed to come online any day now. The one went down in Bloomington. The transmitter is severely degraded. They're going out to investigate that tomorrow. Hopefully the weather cooperates with them. Your cell phone, again, the alerts, but you also get wireless emergency alerts for tornado warnings and significant flash flood events. Those are great ways. You shouldn't count on Facebook or Twitter for rapid information or relying on severe weather alerts. The algorithms really suppress them, and you have to constantly refresh and keep your eyes on it here. You can use that as a supplemental source, and many of you are watching us on these platforms now. And then again, outdoor warning sirens, don't recommend them. Tonight you might be sleeping, and tonight's not a night where I don't think we're going to have any sound at all, but let's just say you're sleeping. Can you hear that inside if it's raining outdoors? Can you hear those sirens go off? Probably not. You got to have a different way here. That's why we like to talk about reliable severe weather alerts. Probably your primary ones, a cell phone app, wireless emergency alerts, keeping up on TV, and keeping up with the forecast there. So, all right, so let's see if I'm right about it. We're going to jump back. If they dropped the warning, we're going to wrap this Canarble wagon up here late at night. It looks like they did. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a last run through and kind of identify a few things here. And I'll check the chat just to make sure they haven't said anything about anything else. Oh, well, you hear that chirp, and they're chatting about something. So they have expired the severe thunderstorm warning. And Lincoln is just mentioning, cloud-to-ground lightning, locally heavy rainfall expected with a couple of these storms. So, that one storm with the deviant motion, it's going to lift north into the rain shield and, not have much time. But these storms more than likely probably finish. It would seem like we just had a little instability in the right place, but that trend has been downward with them. I won't rule out maybe a little small hail coming across I-70 between Greenup and Effingham, but no warning. I mean, it would be pea-sized. You don't need to run outside and drive your car into the garage or anything like that if you're in Greenup and Toledo from this. That's just not going to be the case. We're talking maybe pea-sized. That's not going to do any damage here. We may get a spot of maybe half-inch hail, but how isolated that is, I just think you're better off hanging out inside. Let's see. That says 0.6 of an inch. Whoop-de-doo. It's, not all that much here. If it gets any bigger and they issue a warning, of course, we'll be back. But for the most part here, it looks like our threat winding down, fingers crossed. I'll be here for probably a little while longer, keeping an eye on things and watching it. In the meantime, have the app. You'll get alerts. Looks like a rainy, good sleeping weather for parts of central Illinois tonight. All right, that's what I got for you. If we need to, we'll check back in. If not, Amelia Henderson will have updates for you on the morning show. There's no active weather alerts in central Illinois. If there are, you can get the first alert from that on the WCIA 3 weather app. You can get that as well on TV. That crawl will be gone, so maybe just leave CBS on if you're a worrier. And that's okay if you are, it's fine. But that crawl will pop up and let you know if there's a warning, and we'll keep you up to date. But soggy couple of days here coming into central Illinois. Probably by the end of it, the flooding threat will win out. There's the wrap on it. It's 11:51. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey. Thanks for staying up late. A number of you did. We appreciate it. Hope I don't have to see you again till Thursday. That's when I'm off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays normally. If something happens and you see me tomorrow, something must have gone wrong with the weather forecast. Maybe some flooding happened or anything like that. But again, not worried about tonight. Yeah, there's some rumbles of thunder. It's springtime. It's May. We'll watch it. Tornado threat is not, I won't say never, but I'm like, at this point, if we squeeze one of those out in the next couple of days, I mean, Mother Nature just doesn't like us. We'll say that. We may get an isolated stronger storm with some gusts of wind. we'll have storms with lightning, definitely. We may deal with some flooding, too. But the lowest of low threats here moving forth over the next couple of days as we watch these storms. All right, that's it. Take care.